The year is 2003. Roger Federer has won his first ever Grand Slam. Finding Nemo and Lord of the Rings: The Return of the King had launched to worldwide box office success. And in February of that same year, 50 Cent had just released his album, Get Rich or Die Trying. Do you feel old yet? Anyway, amongst these massive releases, a small comic book writer and his buddies had finally penned and were able to release their first superhero comic book. Whilst it had strong reviews following its initial release, the comic book wasn't selling well at all. This worried Image Comics, the publisher of this book, and they were highly considering shelving the comic altogether. But our comic book writer has a huge twist in mind for the plot. It was still a few issues away though. Upon taking the advice of a friend, our comic book writer says, "Screw it," and decides to write his big twist into the next issue. Now if we flash forward 20 years later, this comic now has a widely successful TV series, a reported live-action movie in the works, a mobile game tie-in, and a massive following of loyal fans and supporters. You're probably wondering what this comic is, or who our mystery comic writer is. Well, our comic writer is a man by the name of Robert Kirkman, the man most famously known as the original creator of the Walking Dead comic, that also has a massive TV series, and honestly is just a big IP in itself. And the comic I'm referring to is called Invincible. Stars Steven Yeun as Mark Grayson, aka Invincible. He's a regular teenager in high school, but like most superhero comics, he has a secret. His father is Omni-Man, the greatest hero that the world has ever seen. He's basically Superman. During the first episode, Mark finally develops his powers and begins fighting crime as a superhero named Invincible. Now, that probably sounds like your standard Saturday morning villain of the week cartoon, right? And you're 100% correct in that assumption. Invincible opens with a pilot episode that honestly doesn't stray too far away from the usual high school hero norms that people like Spider-Man made famous.
I'm gonna be able to fly?
Yes, son. You're gonna be able to fly.
I'm gonna be able to fly.
Until the end, of course. Now, this show is absolutely huge. The finale has become a meme at this point. So in case you've been living under a rock, there's a huge spoiler warning here. Watch the first episode and come straight back to this video, because honestly it'll be quite hard for me to explain why you should watch this show without addressing this twist directly. Okay, they're gone now. Hello people, let's get into it. So, at the end of the first episode, Omni-Man, aka Invincible's father, murders the Justice League. Well, they're called the Guardians of the Globe in this universe, but come on, they're the Justice League. And that is the twist that Robert was waiting to release in his comic book, that completely changed the trajectory of the story. This act alone is a big twist, but the real twist is how absolutely brutal these murders are. The first episode has a few action scenes in it, and they're pretty tame. There's no blood, no guts, no dying, just lots of punching and straight up knocking people out. Then you get to this scene, and they are not holding back. I absolutely love the way the show executes this. Everything we've seen about being a superhero is so dumbed down and child friendly. The typical idea of a big superhero showdown where everyone is saved, the villain is thrown into prison for their crimes, and the hero is left unscathed and is praised by the people. However, after this big twist, the fights from this point onward are crazy. And it makes sense. Think about it. These heroes and villains have insane amounts of power. They're really strong, they're really fast, they would do a ton of damage to each other in a real matchup. And the comic book Saturday morning cartoon show look that the show goes for completely contrasts our expectations with the real brutality of super people squaring off against each other. But now, let's talk about the good stuff. Stick around this channel long enough and you'll realize the only thing I love more than a good fight scene is characters with depth. And this show has quite a few of them. Some of my personal favorites include Adam Eve, Mark himself, Robot, yes his name is Robot, Monster Girl,
Aw, look at her, she's adorable. But isn't there like an age requirement for this ride?
I don't know, you're here. Isn't there a dick size requirement?
Somebody ought to teach you some motherfucking what the
Debbie, Mark's mom, and last but not least, Nolan Grayson, aka Omni-Man himself. If you've made it to this point in the video and you haven't seen Invincible, you're probably wondering, why did Omni-Man do it? Why would he kill the other heroes of the world? And yes, that question does get answered by the end of the season, and it makes complete sense. I'm not going to spoil things any more than I already have in this video. This series is really meant to encourage y'all to watch some good TV and cinema that I recommend, I guess. So go ahead and watch the rest of the show. Season 2 just dropped towards the end of 2023, and part 2 of that season is set to release next week Thursday, March 14th on Amazon Prime Video. The internet is going to be filled with people talking about the story of the show week to week, and you should definitely hop on the train and watch the show with us. Now, in conclusion to this very short video, Invincible is a great show with great writing, even better characters, and some really violent superhero battles. I know where the story is going because of the comic book, and trust me, things are only just beginning. The story is only going to continue to expand and develop at a more rapid pace as Mark and his friends grow stronger and of course older. However, that's it for me. This video is a lot shorter than I anticipated, just because I don't want to get too in-depth with spoilers in a video titled Why You Should Watch. So if you want me to dive further into the story as well as give my pros and cons of the show, let me know in the comments and subscribe to this channel so that you don't miss that video. Thanks for watching MediaMine, and I hope you have an incredible weekend. See y'all next week with an upload.